CPI does not properly capture the real rise in the cost of things. And do I believe that the government is deliberately understating inflation? Absolutely, because it allows them to justify the continued printing of money to fund irresponsible government spending. The governments that want to spend in an undisciplined way use inflation as their tool. They print cash and they pass the bill on to consumers through inflation. It's the inflation tax. We have to end it, restore hard, sound money and low inflation by getting government spending under control and stopping the central bank from printing it.
Canada has been a leader in the Bitcoin mining and financial services industry. This emerging industry is growing fast in Canada and globally. Canada itself now hosts the world's first real Bitcoin ETF product and hosts several large industrial Bitcoin mining farms across the country. What will you do to ensure that this emerging industry is protected against burdensome overregulation? Also, do you have any thoughts on the future of digital currency?
Thank you, Sham. Great question. In fact, I own one of those ETFs, as you'll see in my ethics disclosure. Whenever the ethics commissioner publishes the next disclosures, you'll see that I purchased them. It's all public. So first point is central banks are ruining fiat currencies by printing money. They're printing cash to fund irresponsible government deficits. That is driving up inflation and causing people all over the world to look for alternatives to government run currency. And so, as you've seen, there's been a proliferation of all kinds of digital, they're not just digital currencies, but digital assets like Bitcoin. And I think that this is overall a positive development. It's giving people an opportunity to protect themselves against government-induced inflation and hopefully providing some healthy competition to the government monopoly on our cash. So you're right, Shams. Canada has actually been surprisingly good so far. They have approved the ETFs here. The states have not even approved Bitcoin ETFs down south. The Securities and Exchange Commission is still looking at it, but we got to it first. And I think that's a very positive thing. Now, China recently banned Bitcoin, which has turned out to be a good thing because it means that the mining is moving out of China and into, frankly, more environmentally friendly countries where we have cleaner energy sources to do the mining necessary to calculate new Bitcoins into existence. And that gives countries like Canada an opportunity to take more of a leadership role. So I think there's a lot of positive developments in this space. There's many opportunities. I think Ontario, for example, Shams, needs to look at how it can use, perhaps potentially reduce the damage of the Green Energy Act. The previous Liberal government brought in this ridiculous law that caused for huge subsidies of wind and solar power that is so intermittent that often we get power surges from them that we have to pay other American states to take off of our grid. So right now we have too much electricity. We pay the northern U.S. competitors to take our energy, and we have to explore the possibility that energy could instead be purchased by Bitcoin mines. That would be better than paying American states to take it, and it would allow us to be clean, green, emissions-free Bitcoin mining that would generate opportunity for us here in Canada. So I think all of this is very exciting, very positive. Be ready, though, because as these alternative assets start to gain steam and governments feel they're under threat to their monopoly, they will look for every excuse in the book to try and ban it, regulate it, get in the way, just as the Chinese government has already done. But I think we need to protect economic freedom and innovation. And so I'm very excited about the future.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I got another one here from one of our viewers. There are indications that a Liberal government will tax gains from primary residence. As a senior who owns a home, who's paid a mortgage through the high mortgage rates of the 70s and the 80s, I find that very disturbing. Can you confirm our party's position on this?
We're against.
Absolutely.
And we will fight tooth and nail against any attempt to tax people's gains on people's primary residence.
Hi, I just want to say I love the platform, the positive campaigning you're doing. It's a very strong platform, and I'm a big fan of these telephone town halls you're doing. I think it's a great change for campaigning, but I know we have limited time, so I'll just cut to the chase. So my background is I'm a working professional, a young working professional working in tech and software, and I have a little bit saved up, and I would like to invest it in the Canadian economy, specifically in Canadian businesses. But I'm a little bit worried about the capital gains tax in this country, and I'd love to hear your opinion on what you would do to encourage more young working professionals to invest their money into Canada instead of, say, America or Europe or something like that. And as a bonus question, I'd love to hear your position on cryptocurrencies.
Well, thanks, Patrick. The first question, I'm glad you've asked this question in terms of where to invest, because I think there has been two sides to this pandemic. Some people are hanging on by a thread, and we want to try and help them. And that's Canada's recovery plan is going to focus highly affected sectors. Some restaurants and some services, salons in the GTA. I've seen some of the appeals on Instagram. They're heartbreaking because of health restrictions and other things. So we've got targeted help to help those businesses get back on the ground. At the same time, there's been some people that because of changes, no travel and other things, some people have accumulated some savings during this crisis. So we actually have a plan to merge the two. We will actually provide a credit, Patrick, if you're willing to invest in one of these businesses. This sort of Main Street, rebuilding Main Street tax credit that's in our plan is meant to try and help that encourage that investment to help businesses get their footing again. We're also going to have loans to rebuild Main Street as well and help some of those family businesses that have taken on personal debt. I hear those stories all the time, and they can't even find employees now because Mr. Trudeau has just kept pushing measures down the road as he's been plotting an election. We need to get people working, and we need to save our main streets in the cities, in the suburbs, and in rural parts of the country, and our plan is meant to do that. I also think there's opportunity for you to invest in some of the tech startups you've been involved in. So we have issues like flow-through shares to help startups scale up in Canada, and we want them to develop intellectual property here. So we've got incredible ideas to achieve our economic growth to get this country back on track. In terms of cryptocurrencies and these sorts of things, we will have to work very closely with our trading partners, our allies, our neighbors, our friends, the United States, to make sure that we have stability to our financial system and to our monetary system. So we're going to have to watch very closely decisions made by central banks around the world.